Must read and share this testimony to help save lives, revealing Satan's plans. Please share online and help save a soul today. God bless you as you do so. Lady's testimony is recounted in her own words, as she shared it with the audience. Following her testimony, she fielded several questions from her listeners, and her responses are included in this section. Here is what happened.
I was in the kitchen on the evening of Thursday, July 3, 2003, and I felt the need to go outside. As I stepped out, I suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed. A passerby noticed me and offered to call for help, but I assured them that I could manage and made my way back home. Upon returning, I informed my mother about the incident and took her to the spot. Once back home, I retired to my room. To my surprise, I found 2 angels of God waiting for me there. They conveyed that Jesus had sent them to take me to him. I was taken aback and asked, "Jesus?" They confirmed it and, as I laid on my bed, my spirit left my body, and we ascended towards heaven. Satan challenged the angels when they carried me to Jesus. In mid-air, an elderly man with a flowing beard confronted the angels, questioning,
"Where are you taking this one?"
The angels replied,
"Jesus has summoned us to bring her."
The old man struck the hands of the 2 angels holding me and forcibly took me, stating,
"Is she a believer? This woman is mine, not the Lord's. Why should the Lord take what is mine by force?"
He insisted I go with him, but I adamantly refused. The angels left, waiting for me ahead. Suddenly, I soared upwards and rejoined the angels, and we continued our journey. The message Jesus gave me at the gate of heaven. We arrived at the gate of heaven.
"Have you come?"
He asked in a welcome tune. "Yes," I answered.
"What do you see men doing on the earth?"
He asked. "I see men committing sin on the earth," I answered.
"What kind of sin?"
He asked. "Every kind of sin what you hate," I answered. He said he was aware of it and had called me to give me a message for the world.
"Tell them they should stop killing infants. I am against the acts of witchcraft practiced by men in the world. They should practice charity one to another. They should give to those in need, and whoever borrows from his neighbor should remember to pay back what he has borrowed. They should not curse one another. They should not revenge on their fellows, but leave vengeance to me. They should not commit fornication or adultery. Those going after people's wives or husbands of other women are doing evil in God's sight and must stop it. They should not mock at sinners, but rather intercede for them. They should forgive those who offend them."
The Lord asked me to go and tell the world the message he had given me.
"I still love man. Go and deliver this message to men on earth."
He commanded. I revived on earth, but did not deliver to people the message the Lord gave me. The second time the angels took me to Jesus the following Wednesday evening. I went to fetch water from the stream. When I returned, my family members reproved me for doing so.
"Why did you have to do that when you are sick and have not fully recovered?"
They reprimanded. The experience I had was not sickness, but the manifestation of the Spirit of God, I replied.
"When did you become a Christian?"
They jeered. At that instant I heard a voice calling on me from behind the house. I went out to see who was calling me, but saw no one. The voice called the second time and I went out again to see who was calling me. I saw my younger brother returning from where he went to buy some drugs for me, for I had some fever then. I asked him whether he was the one calling me. He said he was not the one. I collected the drugs he brought and swallowed them. Then I went into the room and brought out a mat to rest on. Not long after this, the 2 angels of God appeared again to me. I was glad to see them and welcomed them joyfully. I took them into my room. The angels said,
"Jesus sent us to bring you back to him, because you have not delivered the message he gave you to people."
I went out and told my mother what the angels said, and she said,
"But why have you not delivered the message the Lord gave you?"
This experience was God's manifestation. I sat on the mat with my little child and asked my mother if she would be willing to care for my baby, since I was going to heaven with the angels. she obliged to take care of the baby. I said, if I go to heaven this time I may not come back or may stay for 1 or 2 days before returning. When I finished speaking with my mother, my spirit took off for heaven with the angels. In the air the angels said the Lord told them to tell me to come back to the earth and tell my people not to trouble themselves by giving me medical treatment, because what was happening to me was not sickness. This information was required to prevent them from doing to my body what they did at my first out-of-body experience. I was told that I was given 9 injections, besides other therapeutic efforts. So I left the angels in the air and returned to the earth and revived in the body. I told those around my body what the Lord said I should tell them. When I finished telling them this I died again and my spirit returned to the angels in the air and we continued our journey to the Lord. Satan confronted the angels in the air. Again the old man confronted the angels over me.
Where are you taking her to?
He challenged.
The Lord asked us to bring her.
The angels replied. He resisted them and they disappeared, leaving me and the old man. I saw myself clothed in a white garment. He took a sword to strike me. When I flew up, he fell heavily and broke his arm. We continued our journey with the angels until we came to the Lord at the gate of heaven. The Lord inquired about my reluctance to share the message he had entrusted me with for humanity. I explained that I had only informed my family members, and their response was somewhat ambiguous. They acknowledged the positive aspect of God using me as a messenger, but their belief in my claims remained uncertain. The Lord reassured me of his unwavering support and urged me not to doubt the receptivity of my message. He delved into my personal life, inquiring about my marital status. I revealed that I was indeed married, but the ceremony was unconventional. Jesus clarified that such a union was not considered a legitimate marriage in his eyes, but rather a form of prostitution. He presented me with a small vial containing a liquid, signifying the dissolution of my bond with the man I was living with. He further warned against associating with idol worshippers, emphasizing the importance of aligning oneself with those who uphold righteous values. The Lord reiterated the importance of delivering his message to women who were not the first wives of their husbands, emphasizing that such unions were not marriages but rather instances of prostitution. He extended this message to men who had married multiple women, declaring their actions adulterous. He cited biblical passages from Matthew 19 verses 4-6 and 1 Corinthians 7 verse 2 to reinforce his stance on the sanctity of marriage. He addressed the issue of premarital relations, warning bachelors and spinsters engaged in betrothal arrangements that engaging in carnal acts before the formal union of marriage was sinful in the eyes of God. He emphasized this point by quoting Hebrews 13 verse 4, which states,
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge.
Inquiring about my father, Jesus encouraged me to seek him out among the saints in heaven. I expressed my inability to recognize him due to his passing when I was a child. However, Jesus assured me that recognition would be possible in his presence. Upon searching among the saints, I was unable to locate my father. Jesus inquired about his life on earth, and I informed him of his addiction to alcohol. Jesus concluded that alcohol had condemned him to hell. He further emphasized the destructive consequences of excessive alcohol consumption by quoting Proverbs 23 verses 29-35. In conclusion, Jesus reiterated the importance of staying true to his teachings and avoiding actions that could lead to eternal damnation. He cited 1 Corinthians 6 verses 9 and 10 to emphasize that those who engage in sinful behaviors, including fornication, idolatry, adultery, effeminacy, homosexual acts, theft, covetousness, drunkenness, reviling, and extortion, will not inherit the kingdom of God.